We have less than no idea.
Yeah. Better get my tuning forks out then. Probably won't be able to hear them because I've got all background sound muted, so maybe that's not a good idea.
Like Phil, I can hear that.
Hear me dropping them? Yeah.
Yeah, I can. That's ever so loud.
Okay, we're live. I don't think you'd be able to.
I did in the beginning, then it cut it off.
Yeah, just cuts it off. I have to have while this computer's acting up.
Make you mute again.
I know, I did it on purpose.
Oh.
It's up there, the sage. I'm gonna sage us.
Fantastic. I'll give us a bit of
I need a lighter in the bowl.
I'll give us a bit of air dragon, Phil, all right?
Yeah.
You ready?
Oh good. Oh yeah, hang on. No lighter.
Charlotte and all the viewers that are watching, we haven't started yet. We're just getting ourselves warmed up. They are. Phil, you ready?
Oh, I put it in there.
That's nice.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a bit of air dragon. That will just cut through, clear the air, give us nice and crisp. So that's from the coloured mirror system.
Trying to set the microphone on fire.
I think you need to set your computer on fire, Phil.
That'd be kind of toxic. I don't want to do that.
Wow, that looks beautiful from the end.
Mm-hmm. Got some cedar here too. Take it in, Phil. Take it in.
That was so thick. It was like I was mesmerized by that then, Phil. It was like I was actually sat opposite with you, not
you are
miles away.
Not 5,000 miles away.
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it?
Okay. Woo. Okay. Put that aside. Well, I'm Phil.
And I'm Phil. And welcome to another episode of the Phil and Phil Show.
Where are we at? 2021. Some sort of episode. We missed last week, but we're here.
Yeah, we missed last week. Phil had what was going on for you last week, Phil?
Yeah, I think I was working with Susan again, just like she was a little bit stressed with the concussion stuff, but yeah, like I say, she's getting a lot better. Cognitive function is really good. The frequency specific microcurrent that we're doing is pretty amazing. So doing that once a week, and that's really helpful for our brain. Doing good brain supplements. And now it's just some physical stuff. I think it's all physical now. Like there's some blockages maybe in the neck, but yeah, craniosacral would probably be a really good idea. Probably just one session might knock it out. So I'll find somebody to do that.
Yeah. And for me last week, I had I used the angle grinder without goggles on. I thought, I'll just do this one bolt quickly. You know, it was just one bolt, and of course, I wasn't present, and bam, got something in my eye. So I was a bit worried, and I didn't want to look at because I've got a video light in front of me which is really bright, and I just couldn't handle all that light in my eye. So that's the reason, you know, with why we didn't do the show last weekend. And I took some homeopathy. I can't remember what it was, but it's basically for taking splinters and unnatural. It pushes unnatural things out of your body. And I woke up in. Sorry?
Interesting. So there's a homeopathic that helps the body to push stuff out.
Yeah. And I woke up in the morning and my eye was perfect. Well, I said to you just now, Phil, that I was using nano silver. So instead of using colloidal silver, nano's even smaller. So I was using nano silver as an eye wash, and then I've got some nano silver and nano zinc spray for eyes, nose, and throat that I was just spraying in my eye and blinking. But I'd been doing that for like 6 or 7 hours on and off, and the homeopathy, literally, I went to bed, woke up in the morning, there was no guns around my eye, clean as a whistle, everything was better.
It's amazing these subtle things that are available to us, and they work.
So amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and so many people say about homeopathy. There was a girl once doing a demonstration outside Boots in, I think it was in Oxford, and she took a whole like one of those, a whole vial of homeopathic remedy, and she sat there and said, "See, look, it doesn't work. Nothing's happened." So what she didn't realize is, and what I mean, I've been doing homeopathy for, I don't know, 20 to 30 years. What people don't realize is if you take one pill or the whole pot, it makes no difference.
Mm-hmm.
If you take one every half an hour, if you did that for long enough, it's called proofing. And therefore you could create in your body what the remedy's there to cure.
Right.
But if you take the whole pot full, it does no more than one.
Yeah. It's pointless. Yeah.
So the exercise was pointless, but from her point of view, the exercise was about proving that homeopathy doesn't work. So from her point of view, it was perfect. I took the whole pot; it didn't do anything. So she got proof.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? You can prove your point virtually for anything.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, I just thought of some silly ones actually that wouldn't work, like proving that you couldn't get run over by a car. I don't think you want to do that one. But also what that proves actually with homeopathy is it's incredibly safe.
Oh, totally. You could take tons of it and it wouldn't do anything.
Even if you do it really badly, you're fine.
Mm-hmm.
So it's an interesting one. But I've used it for serious illnesses,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, homeopathy is phenomenal.
Well, I had this thing where I think I still even have the scar on my hand. Yeah, it's like I got this little cut on my hand, and then I actually flew to England, but I don't think I really treated it very well. And then I flew back, and I think I got some sort of infection in there, right? So I was like trying to deal with it and like trying to clean it out, and it just wasn't healing. And then what happened is and I was doing everything, essential oils, the whole thing, herbs, and then I started to get it started to go up my arm, and I got this lump under my throat, under my not my throat, under my armpit, right? And I go to Gabriel, I look at Gabriel, and he's like, "Oh shit," that's bad, because basically I got a blood infection. And he was pretty freaked out. He didn't say anything, but his eyes were popping out. He's like, "That's not good," kind of thing. He was messaging me through his thoughts. So he basically put me on a homeopathic, and within 2 days, 2 or 3 days, it was totally gone. And I'd been weeks trying to clean it out, do all this stuff, and everything I did, everything physical I was doing didn't do anything. He put me on a suppository homeopathic, and under my tongue, and it was within a couple of days it was totally gone. So
you mean sublingual as opposed to the other one?
no, I put one up my butt, and
right.
He did both. So
wow.
I did the up the butt thing and the under the tongue thing. So,
okay.
Yeah. So and it worked, but then this lady would be like, "Oh, it was a placebo." So you still can't prove it to someone. They're gonna be like, "Well, you would have healed anyway. It's a placebo." And I think to those people, it's like, okay, go ahead. Just don't suppress my right to choose this. I think that's important. And that's the kind of the debate that's going on. It's with everything, it's we all need to make our individual choices on what our method of medicine or food is, and not encroach on someone else's choice. I mean, if someone else wants to eat junk food and take medicine, that's their choice. We can give information, but and I'll listen to information from somebody else, but like we shouldn't be encroaching on each other's choices. And I think that's the challenge of our times.
Yeah, Phil, talking about the blood poison, I've got a friend of mine, my other friend, Philip, and he dropped a weight on his, well, he's our friend, isn't he? Because you know Philip as well. He dropped a weight on his foot once in the gym, and he got blood poison in that, and it started to track up his shin. And he was out of the country going to do a talk, and he had with him half a liter of echinacea tincture. He drank the whole bottle, and he woke up in the morning, and all the blood poisoning was gone.
Wow. Yeah.
So that was less than 24 hours to go from blood poisoning tracking up his leg to gone.
Right.
But he said he had a hangover in the morning,
Hangover.
but he didn't know what else to do.
Was it? Oh, did it have like an alcohol? It was an alcohol tincture.
It's an alcohol tincture, right? It's the ethanol. It's the I think it was ethanol based, so it's one that he would have made. So
Yeah.
super strong. And he just drank the half a liter, and in the morning he was better because he was like, "What am I gonna do with this?"
Right.
Interesting stuff, isn't it? You know, plant medicine again. Yes, it's very, very, very interesting stuff. So we've just had a heads up talking about those levels of remedies that we will probably be censored on this platform.
Right. But that's life these days.
You know, and that's on a level, that's how ridiculous this book burning is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because, you know, we're talking about something that's actually profoundly good, and actually it's been proven to be totally safe.
Right.
You know, Prince Charles is the patron of it, and yet, you know, we're going to get censored and shut down and deplatformed. And
I mean, if you got something you can take vials and vials of it and have zero effect, like physically, then and if people know that, that's fine. Let them know that, you know, you could take this and it may or may not work, but like it's up to the individual. And for me, if it's only a placebo, great. You know, it's like if that's all it is, then what's the problem with that? Like there's absolutely no issue at all. So
this is the thing that I don't get, right? Is you're healed.
yeah.
Does it matter whether the remedy healed you or whether you were healed because you thought the remedy was going to heal you? I mean, to be healed because you think a remedy is going to heal you, that's massively powerful.
Right.
I mean, that's the ultimate in healing, isn't it?
Yeah, especially if it's something that's totally inert, right?
Yeah, something that's inert and doesn't do anything,
Right.
heals you. So fantastic. Let's bring it on. Let's have more of it.
We got what was that? Yeah. Yeah. Well, we'll probably get shut down from YouTube eventually anyway, but oh well.
We can't get demonetized because I think the episode that we did after we got kicked off of Facebook, that would have demonetized us forever, I think.
Yeah, we're not even trying to get monetized, so that's okay.
So, well, we won't.
No.
That's that, Phil. We've done it.
We don't want money from those guys anyway. That's all right. We'll take it from somebody else.
You just saying that now has just led me on to something else. Gary V was just talking today, and he's got not. I was watching it today. It was earlier on in the year. Oh, it could actually. We're not far into this year, so it was a little while ago. And he's got this real sense that Google's going to get disrupted, and there's going to be something else that comes out.
Well, I mean, there's so many amazing platforms. They're all vying. We don't know which one is going to win. Both social media, video platforms, they're all vying for the top, and YouTube's going to lose it. So, yeah.
That's kind of what he said his sense is now. It's just because of the nature of the beast. You know, there's someone out there that's going to. Well, it's the same. It's the same in batteries. If you look at solid, you know, I spoke to you about a solid state drive, Phil, for your laptop, MacBook. Sorry. I've just been investigating solid state batteries, and solid state batteries are completely stable.
Mm-hmm.
They will do 1,000 in a car like a Tesla. They do 1,000 miles per charge,
Mm-hmm.
and the charge time is like 2 or 3 hours. So that's going to be a massive disruptor
Right.
because, you know, also lithium is outrageous. It's mined by children. The
Mm.
batteries from lithium batteries cannot be recycled. They have to go back into landfill.
Oh,
It,
wow.
yeah, it's hideous.
Mm-hmm.
The whole so for me, the whole electric car thing is a big, fat, juicy distraction.
Right.
It's another one. It's another one of let's go down this route, let's go down that route, let's go down the other route, whilst we're not talking about free energy.
Right.
Because that's, you know, that's what it's,
Yeah.
you know, and also these lithium batteries, not lithium, the solid state batteries, you know, it's almost, if you're charging for like 3 hours and you're doing 1,000 miles, it's like free energy, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
And I had no idea either, Phil, how unstable lithium batteries were.
Mm.
I mean, they're horrendous.
Right. Interesting.
They are, you know, they're so volatile because of the plates and the chemicals that are in there. Unbelievable. And yet the solid state batteries will not explode.
Mm.
They're fascinating. So, you know, that technology, and there's a little company in England that actually produces solid state batteries. So they're going to be
Batteries or hard drives? Batteries.
batteries.
Okay. Interesting. What's it made of?
Oh, I did read about it, but I can't remember.
A little complicated, a little over our non-technical heads on there.
Yeah, over our non-technical heads. It's just
Yeah.
some people are calling them glass batteries because of the glass technology in them. But yeah, amazing, amazing technology, and that's, you know, and even though that's amazing technology compared with what else is out there, you know, it's even a non-runner. So it's yeah. So there's disruptors in the market. So I think we're going to see um, Google get beaten, YouTube get beaten, and lithium is going to be so outdated within a very short while by the sounds of it.
Yeah.
So that'll be, you know, it's going to be very, very interesting times.
We are in interesting times.
You know, on I think on every level, spiritually, emotionally, physically,
Mm-hmm.
are very, you know, very, very interesting times.
Yeah. Well, talking about things that are going to get us banned.
Oh, while we're on the subject, then come on.
So I mean, so what's going around right now is the whole, you know, it's a type of software, you know, that people, an operating system that people are putting into their bodies, right? An experimental, untested gene therapy. You know, I won't use that other word that, you know, people are all jumping on, that is unapproved by any authorities. But it's been put out there related to an emergency, right? So
Yeah.
and the reason that, and why is that allowed? Because they've rammed. Go ahead.
They've declared a state of emergency, and when you declare
Yeah.
a state of emergency, then experimental stuff can come in, and in theory, it's not breaking the Nuremberg Code.
Yeah. But what they've rammed out, the other reason, part two of that reason, is they've rammed down everyone's throats that there is no alternatives.
Yeah.
There is no other way to get healthy.
Yeah.
This is the only way to get healthy. And this is scary, and people have bought that, and it's like I'm just having a hard time getting my head around that. It's like, are we just like so immersed in health that we've seen all of these different choices? I just do people not look at this? I don't know, you know.
I don't think people are really getting the gravity of what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like my brother-in-law. I'm going to say brother-in-law, my sister's partner. He had the jab,
Mm-hmm.
and he came round to our house to talk and share.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, well I had mine today, and mine and my mum and dad's face was like,
Why?
and it was just, okay then. And of course, we don't know what's in it.
Right.
apart from in the one that's local to me in the UK, they've put SARS-2 from chimpanzees in it.
Mm-hmm. Careful with that word there, buddy.
So that's it. So if that's in it, I mean,
yeah,
wow.
yeah. Well, what it's doing is, even if it works, this technology is basically creating this kind of response in the body that only responds to this specific thing. So I posted on Instagram, controversial thing, but just like, and I was listening to Del Bigtree on this, like basically you're creating your body to only respond to that. So if other things come in, the body doesn't know what to do. So if there's other variants or other things, the body doesn't know how to respond to it. So basically we're going to see people's immune systems crashing, and we're going to see people more sick than ever because basically have modified the immune system to respond to this one target, this one specific thing.
Well, if we break it down to a computer, then it's this is the thing as well that people at large don't realize, is that actually we're electrical beings, and we've been sold down the stream of nutrition, but we haven't been shared about electrical. So we are electrical beings with electrical circuits doing exactly the same thing as computers. And of course, if the electrics are off, then viruses get in.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand hardware, software, and all that lot, but what I do know is these vehicles can be very easily programmed on a very many levels, like emotionally, spiritually, and physically. We can be programmed,
Mm-hmm.
and all of this stuff that's being done from the outside that people are willingly accepting in is a form of programming. It's I'm going to use the word guiding the body to function in a certain way, which is what all of this stuff does. It guides the body to function in a certain way. And what we're not being told or shared with on the whole, certainly in mainstream media, is this vehicle's amazing ability to heal itself if given the right environment. Years ago, I would have said nutrition, but I'm not going to even say nutrition anymore. I'm going to say
It's
environment,
everything.
because
Yeah.
it's all about environment. And actually, you can eat highly nutritious, highly nutrient dense foods that are dead, and they've got no electric.
Mm-hmm.
So how are you going to create that super high electrical frequency if you've got zero electrical frequencies going in? And this is, I think, this is another one. This is like vibrational medicine, right? We're talking about an electrical pulse. So we know from Kirlian photography that if you get a raw tomato, around the outside of the tomato, it's got this amazing halo, and when you cook it, the halo is diminished by about 80%, and that is the electrical force of the tomato, potato, whatever it is we've got, gone. So we're getting a minuscule amount of electric.
Right.
And obviously your nutrition's diminished, your enzymes have gone. But one of the things I'm kind of, it's really in my consciousness lately is electrical, and that's why fruit is so amazing at cleansing the body to heal, is because of its electrical force.
Right.
Really interesting. I mean, that's a whole different dimension where nutrition's based on nutrients. They don't talk about electrical or high frequencies.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, it's the electrical force we need to rebuild. Our nervous systems run on electrical pulses, so
Right.
we need to rebuild our electrical system in the body.
Mm-hmm.
And you can only do that with electric. You can't do that with other things. You need electrical. Let's just look at electricity as as a nutrient. No, not house mains electric, because that's not a very good source of nutrients. But once again, plant energetics, plant electrics, plant water. It's the best.
Yeah. But I think so. Yeah, I mean, regular electricity is not a good example, but the energy you feel when, yeah, because it's designed wrong. It could be designed in a healthier way, but they think of an electrical storm or being out. The energy you feel from that, like you feel it. You feel that tangible energy. You feel when the weather turns, right? It's like, oh, the weather just shifted. It's going to rain. Feel it. I feel it's going to rain. So we're feeling these energies all the time, these subtle energies, and they're holistic. They're not like isolated. They're holistic and healthy. So yeah, the other thing like about this, experimental process that people are doing is it's totally bypassing all the body's protection systems. You bypassing the skin, like, and that's one level of protection. Everything we have is to protect us from what goes into this beautiful body, from our sense of smell, our tastes, like our tonsils, like they're all part of the immune system to go, oh, stop putting that in, and then down to the digestive system and the stomach and the enzymes, and the whole process is about protecting, but then we're bypassing that system with this experimental therapy.
I like that, experimental therapy.
Yeah.
I do quite a lot of experimental therapy myself, but all from natural plant sources.
Right. We'll do that. I'll experiment with a banana anytime.
Maybe wasn't quite such a hot example, Phil.
Well, why not?
Oh dear.
And I'll let you blow color therapy at me. I'll experiment with that.
And tuning forks, and actually the proven results of sage.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Antibacterial, antiviral, antifungal, anti-mold.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I had no idea how amazing just sage, burning sage alone. Of course, a natural source, not on a stick that's rolled in petrol.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know that, Phil, about incense sticks?
Yeah, they're kind of weird, right? They roll them in petrol.
They dip them in petrol.
Wow.
And then roll the herbs onto it because it makes it stick.
Wow.
And then it evaporates off.
We do some crazy stuff, don't we?
Crazy stuff. Yeah. So it is interesting where just a little bit of a conversation takes us to. It takes us down some windy roads.
Mm-hmm. So, and this whole thing is like this fear of like bacteria and viruses, but people haven't really ever thought about that. And when you actually get down to it, we are covered in bacteria and viruses, inside and out. Not necessarily in the body, like in the blood or anything, but it's in the digestive system. It's on our skin. It's on our face and our mouth. It's everywhere. It's all around us. It's on the dirt, on the environment. It's on the food that we eat. There's hundreds of millions of bacteria and viruses all the time that are out there, and they're not harming us. But here's the thing: when our field it gets messed up, and I think that's kind of where I don't know where I'm going. There's a theme here. When the field gets messed up, when we're out of balance, or
Phil, can I just interrupt you there when you say the
go.
field? Can you explain what you mean by the field for us, please?
Our terrain, our energetic field. I don't know. How would you describe it?
Well, but that's really interesting because you just brought up two things there, haven't you? You brought up our energetic field, which again is electrical.
Right.
So around us, we've basically got this energy field. Again, Kirlian photography. If anyone wants to explore your energy field more, find someone that does Kirlian photography. When they open up again, Mind, Body, Spirit festivals, they've nearly always got someone doing Kirlian photography. Mm-hmm. And you'll see the color of your electrical field around your body. And you can see where you might have, like over the third eye, you might be very purple. Or if you just had an argument with someone, your field might be very blue because you're feeling blue, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if your neighbour's just got a car and you feel green with envy, then your field would have a green hue to it. So your
Right.
field tells very much about red, the expression red with anger, right?
Yeah.
And the field would then show that. So it's a really interesting thing that you can actually go and solidly get done to see actually exactly what Phil was just talking about. You can see your electrical energy field around your body, and then you were talking about the field being the terrain all around you. So you've got the internal and the external terrain, haven't you?
But yeah, let me get back onto the energetic of it. And I think let's talk about chakras or energy centers that are documented throughout hundreds of texts, like for millennia. And I don't know if anyone's really denying that there's chakras or energy centers, and maybe they are in the mainstream, I don't know. But if you tune into any energy center in your body, whether it's the root or the solar plexus, everybody says solar plexus. You say solar plexus and people know what that is. They're like, oh, that's here. I get that. And the people feel that. They feel something, or you feel your heart energy or your throat. And anyone can tune in and feel that, and feel when it's out of balance or feel when it's in balance. Say the great example on the argument, you have an argument with your partner and then you go, your heart hurts, like you feel this sinking feel, or you feel a sinking feeling in your or you're scared, and you feel it down in your root chakra. So like that, I mean, I do, like if something comes up that makes me anxious, I feel like a kind of a weird energy down in my root chakra because I'm maybe feeling ungrounded. That rooted energy, part of those survival chakras. The bottom three are the survival chakras, and you get scared about something, you start to feel kind of a sinking feeling or a kind of something tingling down there, and we can feel those. Or when you're maybe going to do a public speaking and you're a little bit nervous and you can kind of feel your throat kind of locking up. But then when it shifts, like I know, like for me, like, and I think maybe a lot of people experience this, when your truth starts to come out, and I think you posted something last year, your voice starts to shake, right? When that truth starts to come out, your voice starts to shake because I think there's so much energy starts to get charged. I mean, I jumped on the stage at this freedom rally last week and I was like shaking. And it was really interesting because Susan's like, I didn't see it. Nobody, like, there were people didn't see that you were nervous. And I was nervous, but I felt all this energy in my throat chakra. And it was just like really, powerful. And then, but at the same time, like I was talking about the blockages or holes, we can feel when those things are a little bit out of balance. Or if we're like, maybe we're in a lustful energy in that lower chakra kind of thing, we're out of balance there. Or we're more in our head about something and we're like, I'm going to have an argument, I'm going to focus on this. And you go, well, actually realizing you're not really in your heart with it, and you kind of feel when those things are out of balance as you start to tune in more. So as we start to, so I think we really have to start there with health and healing and good health is, let's see if we're out of balance on those things. Like, what is it? Is it going to be meditation? Is it going to be going into nature? Or is it just going to be tuning in, doing some tapping, just tuning in, working on your traumas there? So, I mean, I've been feeling a lot of anxiety recently and just like, I'm just like, oh, I got to work on this. I'm like concerned about like how I'm going to get home to England, and there's a lot going on there. There's still a lot of lockdowns, and like, how am I going to get in? Are they going to force vaccinate? Like, so we were thinking about getting on an ocean liner. There's only one, and they've now mandated vaccines if you get on the ocean liner and you come to the UK. So that just threw that out of the window, But then I'm feeling anxiety from that in my body, and it's like I got to clear that so that I can be open to new potentials and new ideas. But if I stay in that anxiety, it's not going to be so good. So,
Yeah.
and then if you continue with that anxiety, we get sick. Like and it can be an imbalance in that part of the body, or it can be linked to other parts of the body where we actually start to get sick because we're so constantly in that anxious state.
Yeah, totally, Phil. And that's also an adrenal thing as well. Adrenals, weak adrenals will bring anxiety as well.
Right.
Yeah, and anxiety will bring weak adrenals.
Yeah. Yep. Totally.
It's that cycle, isn't it? Which have you got? Have you got weak adrenals or anxiety? And And of course, whichever way around it is, the other, it just feeds the other.
Yeah. So we kind of got the energetic level, and then it like, so on the an energetic at so many levels, and on the curling photography, you can see where there's like kind of dark spots on your field, and you can, and then when somebody who's a powerful meditator or somebody who's in balance, you see this a much more beautiful whole field without holes in it. And you can actually, this is out there, but you can get tears in your auric field that kind of can throw off energies or allow in negative energies into your field. And they're actually not that hard to fix. I've worked with a friend of mine where I've been feeling really out of balance, and she's helped me tune in, and I can now do it myself. And she's just like, wow, you have like tears in your field right now. Say I've gone through a stressful thing and my heart is aching. She's like, wow, you got like tears in your auric field around your heart energy. And all you basically do is just like pull the energy down, like fill it with light, and you can like sew it up and sew up that. It's just like, it's kind of crazy, but it works. Like, and afterwards you go, oh, I feel a lot better right now. So all these subtle energies.
Yeah, you're talking about that. There's I haven't got this book, but there was a book called Lynn McTaggart, and she talks a lot about the field. I haven't read a book or studied it.
It's good stuff. But yeah, like about how they influence, like, so they created a field of people really in energetic harmony, and then they did experiments where they prayed to a specific area or to a specific thing, and they were able to record like reduction in crime or a shift in what happened in that area by all meditating together and holding an energetic together. I think she has a book called The Power of Eight, where you have, like, she focuses on groups of 8 people come together, and they can come together and focus their healing on somebody who needs healing. Say somebody's got cancer or something like that. They can all focus their energy and help heal that person, or at least fill them with love. So
yeah, cool. And there's definitely something about being more than one, isn't there?
yeah.
It's always about group, community.
So we kind of got the energetic, but then, so why are people susceptible to viruses, bacteria? So yeah, we got like, okay, so their energetic is off, so they're stressed, all of those things. But then what else is making them, susceptible? So we've got the terrain, a healthy terrain, whether it's a healthy gut bacteria through eating good food, and if you're not taking care of yourself, you are going to be more susceptible to, infections, viruses, and bacteria. And that's really where we're going to start. And it's just like mind blowing that that's not the conversation in the mainstream. It's the conversation amongst a lot of people. Some amazing, good researchers and just health advocates are talking about this every single day and living it. But it's for whatever reason, whether it's suppression by the industries, it's not being talked about. But it's just obvious, obvious.
Yeah, it is what you just said, and and that's the equivalent of book burning. It's like we have to, if we want to stay on this channel, we have to censor ourselves every conversation we have. And we're not free to speak our truth. Oh, excuse me. That's our English clocks have just gone forwards an hour. So it's, 7:30 becomes 6:30 in the morning, and and it just throws us.
Throws you out when that happens.
I don't think I know anybody that it doesn't throw out. But I love the Native American philosophy on that. It says the white man is the only person that can cut one end off of a blanket and sew it back on the other and convince them that it's longer.
That's brilliant.
Isn't it? Uh-huh. It's so true. So instead of getting up an hour earlier, we've changed the whole clock system.
Yeah.
So you can't get used to it over like, well, I've been lucky because I've been waking up about 6 o'clock. Mm-hmm. So now that's now 7 now. So when I was getting up at 6:30, that's like getting up at 7:30. So I've been doing that naturally over the last couple of weeks. But yeah, so talking about weakening the field, weakening the body, weakening the immune system, this does that.
Mm-hmm.
I remember my granddad saying to me years and years ago that he reckons it took him 2 weeks to recover from the clocks changing.
Mm-hmm.
And the amount of older generation that says that,
Right.
it's quite a stand. 2 weeks is quite a standard thing for people to actually get into the rhythm
Well, your
of
body gets, it's a cycle. Like the body likes routine. It does.
yeah,
It likes to
absolutely.
go to bed at a certain time, get up at a certain time, eat at a certain time. It likes that. It likes that cyclical nature of things.
And I think as well, Phil, that that's really worth mentioning, isn't it? Because I'm not great at that. Having when I'm working, I'm much better at routine.
Mhm.
Because I get up at a set time, I go to work at a set time, I have my lunch at a set time. Instead of when I'm at work, instead of eating when I'm hungry, we stop at 1 o'clock, which is good or bad, who knows? But it is routine, and actually, it's those levels of routine are good. I'm just talking about stopping at lunch, but for me, it's not too bad because I can't. If I get hungry, I can just have I can just have a bit more smoothie, so it's not too big a deal. But routine, yeah. I mean, I think that strengthens your energy field, your immune system. It strengthens you mentally, emotionally, spiritually. Going to bed at the same time, you just said, getting up at the same time, really, really important, and going to bed early. It's my grandma was used to say to me, every hour before 12 is worth two after, and now science is proven that it is right.
Right.
Science has proven the hours before midnight are so the hours before two are crucial,
Mm-hmm.
and because you've got liver time between 1 and 3, and liver only repairs in a certain when you're in a certain quality of sleep. So certainly, between midnight and 3, it's a crucial time, and subsequently the hours before midnight have been proven to be like golden sleep. It's super. I don't know how early that window starts, but I certainly know somewhere between 8 and 12. I mean, I think if you look at monasteries and monks, they would go to bed at 8 o'clock and
Mm-hmm.
they would get up at 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock. So you can see spiritually the real importance of that sleep cycle.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah, I think Joe Dispenza starts. He says he meditates at I think 4 a.m. or something because
yeah.
it's something about the pineal gland being really active at that point. So that early
Ah,
morning meditation, and he gets like much deeper meditations by meditating at that time.
yeah. I know when I was years ago when I was living in a caravan on the edge of the woods. I got in June. I got up every morning half an hour before sunrise, which is early in the UK. It's like 3 o'clock, and I meditated then. And if I missed getting up that early, and I hadn't, I used to meditate. I used to do a dancing meditation, and well, dancing, a movement meditation. And if I hadn't finished by 5:30, 6 o'clock, oh, I used to just get so thrown out. I couldn't remember what I was doing. And you can literally feel the kettle going on, the toaster going on. You can feel the coffee maker going on. It's really interesting if you get up that early. And I did it. I was up, like I said, half an hour or so before sunrise for
Mm-hmm.
30 days. And you can really feel when people start waking up, and
Right,
that
you
and the
feel the
consciousness.
energetic.
Yeah.
Ah, yeah.
And the consciousness kicks in. It's really
Mm-hmm.
interesting because then I was only about 4 miles from a city, not a big city in the UK, a small city. But yeah, I could feel the city wake up. It was really
it,
interesting.
it really doesn't take a lot to tune into subtle energies. I mean, and it's happening all the time. Of course it is. It's life. And I think for all of us just to tune in for a minute and just, even if it's just sitting there and watching your breath, you start to notice subtle energies and changes. Or sit down after you've eaten a certain food and really try and tune in. How does that make you feel? Like we often like do this thing and then rush to the next thing. And then we're like, oh, I don't know why I have a stomach ache right now. And it's like, well, if we're being more conscious with our eating, we're like, well, I actually, ate my food really fast, and I was like watching the movie, or I was at work eating, and I wasn't focused on it. Like all this, you start to notice things. There's like lessons and gifts all around us, like giving us guidance.
All around us, all
Yeah.
of the time, wherever we are.
Yeah.
We've just lost the art of listening
Yeah.
and feeling, and actually feeling, because we are one of the things we're trained in from a very young age, and especially in the West, well, mainly in the West, is all about being in the head and
Right.
valuing head energy and
Mhm.
dismissing heart energy, and that good old gut feeling. If
Yeah.
you listen to any of the big entrepreneurs, the big money makers, they're all about, I had a gut feeling.
Mhm.
And they're all into that. They're
Right.
all into the gut feeling, and where they felt it. And yeah, just like Gary Vaynerchuk today talking about he's got, and he was talking about it, and he said all the hairs are standing up on the back of my neck.
Right. Who hasn't felt that? Right. Who
Yeah.
hasn't felt that and going, how can you deny the electrical energy in
Or the
nature? And
all the goose gogs all over you. I call them goose gogs, but in England they're goose pimples that come up all
goosebumps.
goosebumps that come
Yeah.
up all over your arms, and
Mhm.
now I call them spirit bumps or truth bumps, because
Right.
it's when you're on I'm getting them right now as I'm talking. It's actually when you're on a truth subject.
Right.
It's really interesting. So Gary Vee was talking today about there being a big disruptor for Google and YouTube, and bam, he was
Mhm.
having spirit bumps come up,
Right.
because for him it's true, right?
Mhm.
So that's going to be a really interesting one to pay attention to, and be ready for. Be
Yeah.
ready for the next. Be ready for the next great platforms to come.
So I think to get to that space, to get to that feeling, is that we gotta tune our radio station, right? So we got tune the chakras and get rid of a lot of the noise, like all the extra channels, whether it's toxins coming in or excess EMF. We gotta kind of shut some things down so we can start to listen to our body. There's so much noise and so much in our heads, and just so much going on. We kind of got to shut some of that down, and that's why the monks go off and sit in the mountains for a while, because it's like they shut everything down so that they can really tune into those subtle energies. And a city dweller might be like, oh, that's kind of boring, you don't have anything going on. And it's like, for the monk, it's like, that's got it, it's like really, really deep ecstatic states of bliss. And so we got to tune out some of those things that are stressors to the system, whether they're physical toxins, negative energies, environment, all those things. We've got to kind of tune those out and clear those out, sweep those out, so we can tune in to the subtle energy of this beautiful vessel that we're being gifted with. So
Yes, you're talking about, again, tuning in, Phil. When I came into the village one day, I mean, this was a few years ago, I drove into the village and I was like, wow, that's really different. That feels really different. And it was eerie. It was so quiet and peaceful. It was eerie. And all that had happened was there was a power cut. And that realization blew me away of how much noise, very, very subtle noise, that well, let's clarify noise. It's not noises in what you can hear, it's a noise that you can feel.
right.
And actually it was phenomenal to realize how much interference is caused by normal electricity.
Right. Well, I think I tune into it even without it being turned off. I feel this like constant underlying hum, and I think it's they just keep throwing more and more stuff into the environment, and there's this constant underlying hum, and you don't know it until it's shut off. Like you don't, and that's why it's important to get out into nature, into the woods, because finally it gets shut off, and you go, oh.
That's where we've got to go, Phil.
And
When you
think
come
about
over.
that. Yeah, think about that. It's like your body never gets to shut down. It's been hit with so many inputs, like nonstop. And like when you just stop it, it's like, oh, your body gets to heal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you stop the noise, the body gets to heal. You know, that's the thing, isn't it? It's like, you know, it's interesting what Dr. Morse said on one of his videos where uh 40, 50 years ago now, if you ate a raw living foods diet, you could more or less bring the body back to balance and heal it from anything. You know, and he was saying now it just doesn't work because, you know, when I first started the raw food diet, I was under the impression that you ate raw food diet and whatever was wrong with you, you got well. Because I've been studying the old people.
Right.
I've been studying Paul Bragg, Norman Walker, um, I'm trying to think of the lady in Boston now, Anne Wigmore.
And Wigmore, yeah.
You know, I've been studying the old lot, and actually, it didn't take a great deal. I say,
Not as much. Yeah, they
I
didn't
say,
have they didn't have the onslaught of
yeah,
Wi-Fi's and EMFs and 4,000 chemicals or whatever it is, 40,000. I don't know. There's a lot of chemicals, and there's more and more chemicals every day being thrown into the environment. I mean, back then there was a lot of there has been chemicals, a lot of chemicals in the environment for the last couple of 100 years, but it's, you know, it's crazy right now what's
when you know,
in the environment. And then they're dealing with, you know, people are being vaccinated, you know, all that stuff is in there. Bad word, sorry, I'm banned now.
I'm glad you caught yourself, Phil. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's and that's the difference. The
Mm-hmm.
difference, that's it. I mean, that's a huge difference. People would change their diet to a raw food diet and get, you know, juice in, and they get well.
Yeah, I mean, Gerson, there was a book, I think there was a book, it's like 50 cases where he reversed the cancer. And yet I have a friend who didn't make it, and he was doing everything. And part of his stressor was EMFs and cell phones. But we're trying to heal in a city environment, in, you know, pollution in the air. And it's like, it's challenging.
It's tough, and that's why, you know, people like Gabriel Cousins create. You know, he created his center in the most pristine landscape in America that he could find.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and if you go
Right.
back to Native Americans, what we're talking about finding to heal, they lived in that environment 24/7.
Right.
You know, no wonder they were incredible people. No wonder they were tuned in.
Yeah, and we call this primitive life, where there's like, you know, there's a few tribes left on the planet, and they're walking barefoot on the earth, and they're living in harmony with the environment, and you know, they're not creating anything synthetic. You know, they're building their homes out of the natural elements, and they don't get the sick disease states that we get in the Western world. You know, they don't get heart disease and cancer, and they die of traumatic things if they fall off a cliff, or just old age, you know. So they're not getting these things, and they're happier. They don't have like the latest phone or anything like that, and they're just this community of people coming together and working together. And I think we all know that in our hearts. It's like, people say I'm feeling lonely, but then, you know, we're not alone, but we are in many ways. But when we just come together as a group of people who are in alignment and just supporting each other, it shifts that. I definitely felt that at Tree of Life is like, I didn't feel alone. Like, even if we were like meditating together or making food together, and it's like you feel that companionship and community, and you're still an individual being, but you're together in a common purpose, a common goal.
Yeah, you know, and that's what's missing now, isn't it? Is that coming together in a common goal? Because it's, you know, we've entered into we haven't entered, we are in, and I get the sense we're at the end of it, which is dog eat dog. I'm
Right.
going to do it my way for myself, and I'm going to do it on my own, and I'm going to get rich. Well, you're only going to get rich on one level,
Right.
which is the physical material level. You know, again, Gary Vee says it really, really great. You know, he says he meets very wealthy people, and they say to him, well, at least I can cry in my Ferrari. And he's like, go buy a Toyota.
Right.
Why do you want to cry in your Ferrari? What's all, you know, what's all that about?
Mm-hmm.
What's all that about? And that's that thing where I'm doing okay. I'm all right, Jack. Hey, look at me. Aren't I doing well? And actually, it needs to be, hey, look at us. Aren't we doing well?
Mm-hmm. Right.
And, and bringing together communities of people, you know, and like you said, Phil, we all know this stuff. It's just being indoctrinated out of us.
Right.
And, the fear that someone's going to cheat on you, the fear that someone's going to take something away from you, whatever the fear might be about doing it in groups, or you might have a fear of doing it in a group because you might feel that you're greedy, and you might feel that you'll let them down. Do you know what I mean? It's
Right.
that, but also we're driven at this moment in time by making profit, making money, and being successful.
Right.
And certain people see success as material wealth. Other people are going to see success as peace and tranquility.
And there's another level of, let's talk about this, is kind of speaking up when we see something that's wrong. And that can be challenging because so that's like a different energy, but there's going to be some level of conflict. And it's like how to do that in the most compassionate way. Like if you see something that's off, do we just not say anything? If we see people are getting harmed by, world events, like I think it's important to speak up, and that might mean that there might be some conflict at some point because we're trying to get back into balance. And just like that's a challenge because it's like, well, I want everything to be peaceful and harmonious, but then there's also like, well, speaking up if you see something that's off, I think is really important. And
Yeah,
that's what we're doing the show.
you saying that, when my sister came round, and I spoke to her, and I was saying, so are you thinking of having this X, Y, and Z? And she's like, well, she's got a house in France, and she wants to be able to go to her house. And I said, well, that house to you in France is no good if you're dead or paralyzed.
Right.
And I said, do you want me to actually share with you what I know about it?
Mm-hmm.
And she actually said, yeah. So she sat down, and because I've got a friend that's a scientist, I said, look, this is what he said is actually going on. And she really respects him, because when the kids were getting their um, things when they were young to make their immune system stronger from the cartel, my nephew had a reaction.
Mm.
And I've been on at her all the time. Don't you just don't do it. Just don't do it. Do the research. Become educated before you
Mm-hmm.
actually do that. And luckily, I wrote to my friend, and he wrote back and said, sorry, I've just had a knock on the door. It's threw me out. And he said, if he's had a reaction to the first one, whatever you do, don't do the second one.
Mm-hmm.
So what a really great bit of advice that was.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Because if you've had a reaction to the first one, the second one, the chances are the reaction is going to be much worse.
Right. Yeah. Because some people might be able to handle it, and some people's systems can just go, I got this. They have really powerful detox pathways, and their body's like, I don't know what this is. I'm going to kick it out. But not everybody. And a lot of people are compromised, and that's why we're getting even more reactions. So we're
Well,
all unique.
I've got a
Yeah.
friend of mine, Phil, that's a professor, and I was saying to him one day about this stuff, and and I was talking about it in the way that I don't really like it. The fact that I don't like it and I don't agree with it. And he was saying, well, I'm actually pro, and I've had it. I'm all up to date. My kids are all up to date. Blah 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 blah. And I said, it appears to me the people that get affected by them are very sensitive.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, well, I don't know that I can agree with that. He said, but what it appears is they're in tune.
Mm.
This is a
Mm-hmm.
scientific professor that deals with this stuff all day long. And he's
Right.
saying they're in tune. They're
Right.
in tune with themselves, or,
Mm-hmm.
or they're in tune with nature. And I thought that was a really
Yeah,
interesting
that's good.
way of him, he's a hardcore scientist, right? But
Mm-hmm.
a really interesting way of him describing it. We describe people like that as being very sensitive.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, no, they're in tune. He said, and I'm no way in tune. You know,
Yeah.
he said, I'm not like you. You know, I can't feel that. I'm not in tune. So that's a really, for me, it's a really interesting way of looking at it, is actually the people that we are, that we label as being sensitive, he's labeling as being in tune.
It's really cool. Yeah, we know how things, we start to learn how things actually affect us right away. We go,
Very,
oh, wait a minute.
and you know, for me, it took me until I was probably in my early 30s, having done quite a lot of work, to be able to see, well, yeah, probably in my late 30s to actually be able to see the triggers.
Yeah.
You know, it's very interesting. So, you know, but I've always known something was wrong, so to speak.
Yeah.
You know, and I think those people that are sensitive, in tune, know there's something wrong, but of course we have no clue what it is. And then of course we act out the rebel.
Right.
And actually all we want is something that's true. You know, we're just looking for the truth. We're not trying to, I'm certainly not going against any system for the sake of going against any system.
Mm-hmm.
I listen to what any system's got to say. But if it doesn't feel right, if it doesn't sit right,
Mm-hmm.
you know, like even in the beginning, I was listening to alternative stuff in the beginning of the lockdown last year. I was listening to alternative stuff going, yeah, I get it, but it doesn't sit right.
Yeah.
I hear what they're saying, but it doesn't sit right. It doesn't. And lots of things that they spoke of didn't come to fruition. And it's like, wow, you know, I've really got to listen to that. I've really got to tune in to being in
Mm-hmm.
tune more.
Yeah.
And, you know, and really listen.
Right.
And, you know, I've started to kind of boldly make predictions about other things that are going on now and said, look, you know, if this is what I'm feeling and sensing, it's like wanting to be witnessed. You know what I mean? And it's not about being right. Because like when the first lockdown happened, a friend of mine shouted in Waitrose, "Oh, you've been telling us this for 10 years. You were right, weren't you?" I don't want to be right.
Mm-mm.
It's not about being right.
Right.
It's about saying, guys, look, if we don't do something, this is the direction that it's going in. You know, this is the sense that I'm getting, it's going in this direction. And it's about being witnessed. So, you know, because quite often I'd feel this stuff, think this stuff, and not share it with anybody. And that way, I'm not really honoring that sense that I'm getting as to what's going to happen. And you know, and I think that's really important for us to, you know, like with the stuff that's going on earlier on in the lockdown, was I was hearing it and going, oh yeah, you know, it all makes sense. And oh, okay.
From YouTube, I just pasted it there so we remember
Oh,
to
cool.
address it.
Yeah, so yeah, that's really interesting to share there. So I always want to speak up because I would want someone to speak up about me. It's really nice to hear someone like that be aware.
I think it's talking about the scientist friend. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Um, okay, so he's saying my wife has been branded hypersensitive, and she really is because she has a larger and quicker reaction to medication. So people like your wife are actually there to keep the rest of us safe, right? So
Yeah.
so so so
Was
for
it the canary in the coal mine, right?
yeah. So a friend of mine very sensitive to like fabric conditioner anywhere near them, boom, headaches, migraines, so ill. Me, mold. If I get anywhere near mold, bam, headaches. It goes right up my sinus and into my brain, and I know a mold headache. And in my stomach, I start if I've got mold, it's kind of instant mold poison. I get sick in my tummy, not sickness. I just feel that sick, and it's like, wow, okay, there's mold. So
I get so the couple those two great examples. One, like the chemical shitstorm aisle in the supermarket. It's like
oh,
like you know, it's just like instant headache, right? You're just like, what the hell is this stuff? And
I just go down next aisle.
yeah.
If I find my
And
if I've got my little trolley and I'm going la, 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 turn down the aisle, it's like
yeah.
go 2 hours away.
Yeah, there's one level. It's like, you know, some people have chemical sensitivity and they feel everything, and that's like a different level. But then there's like just a natural, like, I don't want to throw it into like, oh well, we need to be able to handle this stuff. It's like, no, there's a good reaction there. It's like, this is a chemical shitstorm, just to put it out. Like, get away. The body's telling you that stuff's dangerous.
And you know what someone else was saying, which is really interesting, is the sensitive people that are sensed. You know, if we've got 5 or 6 of us together, right, and we're all sensitive to different things, we can protect each other.
Mhm.
You know, I can
Right.
say, actually, this is moldy, and other friends of mine can sleep in the mold, be in the mold, no effect at all.
In those environments where it's like that, I start to get itchy nose, itchy mouth kind of feel. It's almost like an allergic reaction when I'm just like, something going on here. So I've been into an old house or a moldy space, like, yeah, I feel something in my body. It's like it starts to sniffle tension. You start to feel tension there. It's like, oh, I got to get out of here. So yeah.
So for people like us, we are who whatever it is, we're the pre we're the kind of early warnings. So what will happen with people that can't smell it, feel it, sense it, whatever, will develop some deadly disease later on and go, oh, I have no idea what that was. So what we're all doing, and what your wife's doing, is she's protecting everyone from medication. Because it's
Right.
like going, actually, guys, this stuff's shit. It's poisonous, and it's doing me no good at all. So thank God for you for having a wife like that. You know, it's great. You know, we're just we're sensitive. That's why they chose canaries to go down the coal mine, because the canaries died before the humans died, right?
Right.
Because they were sensitive.
Yeah.
It's a sacrifice, and you know, it's like those of us that are super sensitive are actually telling everybody else that this isn't right. And it's, you know, of course people can handle it. However, can they?
Right.
Can they? They can at that moment in time, but can they in 10? You know, I've got another friend of mine now that's got he's got dermatitis. It isn't dermatitis.
No.
It's an internal fungal that's coming out.
Anything on the skin is like, yeah, it's the body going, I can't deal with all this crap inside me. I gotta try and get it out.
You know, he's got a fungal infection. All of his fingers,
Funny, yeah. We have all these labels for like, it's
split.
fungus. It's like this, yeah.
He's got diabetes. He's got this. He's got that. He's got the other. And I go in his kitchen and think, wow, man, no wonder you're sick. Go in the bathroom and think, wow, no wonder you're sick. And then you just walk in the house, and it's just like, oh my God. You know, it's like, just get me out. No wonder you're sick. No wonder.
Yeah.
But, you know, there's certain things, people, times that actually you can't say anything because you're just going to be a nutter.
You can tell a lot by somebody's health by what's in their kitchen, right? What's in their kitchen cabinet.
Interesting.
I'm just sharing what's being posted on YouTube, so it's easier.
Yeah,
so
cool.
you can see it. You can decide when to fit it in. So
yeah, thank you, Phil. So you know, this same person rejected the implant, and they got pregnant.
yeah, the body's like, no, I'm going to bypass this. I'm going to reject it.
So it sounds to me like your wife's really quite cool.
Yeah.
And what it means is, you know, you as in you, the both of you have to really honor that and nurture it, you know. And if you've got any questions of stuff to add into your lifestyle that would help, put it in the chat box. Let us know. Give us a ring. We'll do whatever we can to help, because that's I'm going to share something with you now. Which, have I got it? Where is it? Yes, because that's just going to lead me on to the next thing. There's this amazing little book, right? Can you see that, Phil?
Yeah, the chemical maze. Yeah.
So this is an Australian book, and if you just, I'm not going to get you to choose something. I'm just going to choose let's just choose an let's just choose an E number.
That's
E2.
Tim. That's Tim, by the way, on YouTube. So
Yeah. Let's choose E211, right? I've got a good idea what E211 is. So it's I'm gonna look it up. Sodium benzoate, but just so you guys get an idea. Oh no, I can't even find it. Oh, it's because I'm looking under the sixes. Excuse me, guys. I just had a little bit of a moment there. You're not going to find 211 under the sixes. So E211, it's so you can see now in here. It's got a little. Can you see that, Phil? A little unhappy face.
yeah, it's a little small, but yeah.
So it's got faces. It's got a straight across mouth, like that, and it's got an upset mouth. I can't even do one of those. Oh, get where the mouth goes that way, and it's got a happy mouth. It goes that way. So it has. If it's got one unhappy mouth, it means it's not too bad. So sodium benzoate, derived from benzoic acid, it's a preservative. Potential health effects, right? E211 is what's in. Well, so it says here: orange soft drink, relish, milk and meat products, condiments, baked goods, lollies. Other uses: toothpaste, eye cream, vanishing cream, automotive corrosion inhibitor. So just for this one, right? Potential health effects: liver, kidney and neurotoxicity, asthma, gastric burning, hyperactivity, allergic reactions in aspirin, and chemical sensitive people. And then it's got teratogen, which I don't got no idea what that is. But that's just taken us down the toxic route.
Well, so you got that, and it's like, well, it's just, well, people are like, well, it's just one thing. It's just a small amount.
Yeah. Okay. So Phil.
Then there's like,
right?
no, I know that. I know. I get it.
I'm just showing you though. That one thing.
Yeah.
That's one thing out of that.
Yeah, it's all those things combined together.
Full of things.
Yeah.
And it's just so so that was the chemical maze. I've never seen it in England. My friend bought it from Australia.
But they test those things one at a time, and they do like toxicity studies, and they give like tons of ridiculous stuff. They give tons of it to rats to see when it would kill them and what happens. But then we're combining like a little bit of that with those, you see these, processed non-foods, whatever they are, with like 10 of these weird ingredients in, all combined together. And then people go, well, it's still only a small amount. And it's like, well, there's a great meme that goes around quite a lot. So tell that to somebody who's allergic to bee stings. It's only a small amount. Yeah, it's like, no, a small amount is dangerous. And then we talk about the homeopathics, like the frequency, the resonance of that coming in, and it. Oh, tell that to a drug company. What are they using? These tiny little pills with a small amount of an element that actually affects the body. They say, well, no, it's a small amount. It's like, well, your whole science is based on tiny amounts of stuff. Whether it's psychiatric medications, it's tiny amounts of neurotransmitters. Or it blocks neurotransmitters, tiny amounts, and it has a serious effect on the body. So there's no saying that a tiny amount does not have an effect. It's like it's out there and it is having an effect. So, and like you say, but if somebody's really clean and they have good detox pathways, they might be able to get that out. But eventually the body's like, the liver's like, I can't do this anymore. I've had enough. So somebody might be stronger. They might have better detox pathways and can handle it better. But eventually it'll be like, enough. I just can't. It'll shut down. The kidneys will you hear about you people on dialysis, liver failure. These are happening in the middle-aged group, because eventually they just go, I can't handle this shitstorm anymore. Enough.
Yeah, and then Phil, you get all those chemicals like in your food, and then you boil it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, then, do you know what I mean? What happens because those chemicals then become other chemicals, and those chemicals join with other chemicals and become other chemicals.
Yeah. Boil it, fry it. Like it's like high heat temperatures on those things. Like those things are in like baked goods or fast foods or pizza, and like so they're baked in there at very high temperatures. Like what happens there? They've not even tested that. We have no idea.
Well, there's something, if enough, now I'm not going to be correct in this, but there's something like 11% of drugs are tested before they go on the market. The rest are tested when they're on the market.
Right. I mean,
And if
like the
enough,
experimental gene therapy.
and if enough people die, then they get taken off the market.
Right.
I think there was one that a guy called Dr. William Wong talks about, and it was called COX-2. I think, from what I remember, it was an anti-inflammatory. I can't say too much about it because I don't remember. But he was saying, shoved it on the market. When 50,000 people or something died of it, then they took it off the market.
Right. It's madness.
It's incredible. Well, can you imagine me creating some kind of herbal mix and someone died? One person died.
You'd be in jail.
I'd be in jail.
Yeah.
That's what's bizarre.
It's so bizarre. Like they have billion-pound lawsuits against these companies for all of these injuries, but they're still in business, and they're the same companies that are making these experimental therapies. Like, and then people are still taking them. It's like, but these companies have like hurt millions of people. Yeah.
And on we can go. So,
Yeah.
what's the savior? The savior is always turn to nature, my friends.
Yeah.
Turn to nature, believe in self, seek the truth out wherever you can, be happy, stand up for people, stand up for yourself, stand up for your rights, stand up for other people's rights. And the main thing for a lot of people is stand up for other people's rights before you have to stand up for your own. Because when you've got to stand up for your own and you haven't stood up for the others, they ain't going to stand up for you
Right.
because they ain't going to be there.
Yeah.
Stand up for each other.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, stand up for each other, stand up for yourself. And the more you and not give your power away to others, like the more, and sure, we can get help from others, who can help us, but not giving our power to an authority. Oh, fix me. It's like, no, tune into yourself and they get guidance. The people can help us, our community can help us, but don't just go, I don't know what it is. Here's my arm, do what you need to do. Okay, I'm on my way. It's like, no, tune in, and the messages are all around us. Like, we'll get guided and the information is out there. What we need to do is out there. How we can get healthy for us on our journey in the moment right now. It's going to be different for each person. The answers are out there. The people that can help us, the herbs that can help us, the foods that can help us are all around us. Yeah.
We're back to the basics again. Fundamental thing
of course.
Drink clean water,
Mm-hmm.
eat organic food, save the planet, save yourself, save your friends. I think organic is a huge solution.
Yeah.
It's a huge solution. And, when you've got a plate, just keep the minimal amount of different foods on your plate because it makes a huge difference to your body. But I just want to reiterate, organics, clean water, organics, clean water. It's really simple. If anyone comes to me for consultation, starting point's the same, right?
Right. Yeah, and like I do the same, like I'll do organic whole food. I won't talk about raw food. I don't talk about being vegan or something. I'm just like, look, organic whole food. That's my message, because it's very universal. It's very it doesn't have any triggers. People get that. They're like, oh yeah, organic whole. All right, that makes sense. Like, I need to eat whole foods as it comes out of nature. And a lot of people really get that, but there's triggers with like, oh, it needs to be raw, vegan, which are all, potentially good things, but it can be a trigger for people. But if you just go organic whole foods, they're like, oh, or clean water. Oh yeah, clean water, organic whole foods. I get that. You know, it's like that's a great starting point, and it starts, and then your body starts to tune in and go, oh yeah, I like this. I want more of this.
And I think something else that's really fundamental right now is fresh air, guys.
Oh yeah,
Fresh air, not material dipped in fire retardants.
ethylene. Was it
Around your
ethylene
face.
dioxide or something sprayed?
Ethylene dioxide, yeah. Just, I wonder if that's in my little book.
You know, if you know a big thing. I was gonna jump on this. Those things
Go on, Phil,
that you're
jump on it.
talking, those things that you're talking about. If something is destroying the environment, do you think it's good for you? Like that thing is like in waterways, it's on the ground, it's going into the ocean, it's harmful for the workers who are creating it. It's having to use mass amounts of resources to extract the chemicals to create it. And do we think like it's just so obvious that that is not going to enhance health? It's not going to enhance health in any way, shape, or form. Stop it, people. Stop it.
Okay, Phil. So
I need to
there.
not get fired. Sometimes I'm just like, it's so ridiculous. Why are we doing this? Like, it's like this thing is destroying our world. Billions and billions of these things are getting thrown into the environment. It's just, it's ridiculous.
It's really stupid because we've become stupid. We've become the human species has just become bloody stupid, and we've got to wake up out of this trance and realize what's going on. So, Phil, was it ethylene diamine or
I don't know if it's ethylene dioxide or something like that.
dichloride? Ethylene oxide? My God, they're all bad, man.
Ethylene oxide.
Ethylene oxide.
Ethylene oxide.
So, from the oxidation of ethylene and air or oxygen with silver catalysts, it's a humectant. The code is double miserable faces. You see the little faces?
Oh my God. double trouble.
It's double. So, where I've forgotten where we were now. Oxide. Okay. It's typically used in cosmetics. Typically used in cosmetics, guys. Other uses. Fumigant used on ground spices and other processed natural seasonings.
Right.
Do you get that, guys? It's used on that. So, what does it do for us? Potential health effects. This isn't me. This is this little book, The Chemical Maze. Fab little book. Okay. Potential health effects: cancer, liver, gastrointestinal, neuro, respiratory. Sorry, it's not funny, but it's respiratory toxic. And kidney toxicity, headache, vomiting, spontaneous abortions, teratogen, and it's on the NIH hazards list.
It's only a little bit. It's just used to sanitize them,
It's
Phil. What's the
fine
problem with that? It's just a
in
little.
your cosmetics. It's
just
fine
tiny little bit.
in your natural seasonings, and it's fine on your ground spices. By the way,
Yeah, but it's just a tiny little bit. It's just used to purify it, Phil. It's a little bit. It's just a little bit. It's like a little bit of chlorine in the water. You know, it kills the bacteria. It's only a tiny little amount. It's fine.
Wow.
I fact checked this, Phil, and it's fine. Tiny amount.
Okay, that's all right then. So consuming. So you got me on it now, Phil. Let's just go to see if my little magic book's got chlorine in it, or this little magic book. Is that chlorine dioxide? Oh, yeah, it must be chlorine dioxide, antimicrobial. But it's only got one unhappy face in it, Phil. So it's not. So this is just going to kill you a little bit slower. Oh, see chlorine dioxide 962 in section 1. Oh, God. So anyway, so I've got to go to 962 in section 1 because it's not in here. 962 section 1. Let's see what it has to say. 96. Oh. Huh? It's not in here.
What else they got in them? Teflon, right? So
I'm looking at the wrong number. It's 926.
I wonder what Teflon is in there. We know how toxic Teflon is. This thing's
Oh,
got Teflon in it.
so
Yeah.
chlorine's brilliant, right? Chlorine dioxide is food uses, cereal flours, other uses, toothpaste, mouthwash, control of microbes in poultry process, and water.
So in our facility, I think I've mentioned this story before. We don't use chlorine, right? So we use alcohol, which it's not too bad. It evaporates pretty quickly.
Philip, depends what alcohol you're using.
Well, it's not. I mean, it's isopropyl alcohol.
Shall I read that to you?
No, I don't want to. Let's not read that because we use it, and that's the best choice we have right now. But it's a great example though, because it's not ideal. However, we don't use chlorine, right? So
Okay,
we had this situation where there was some contamination in something, and the quality were like, we need to sanitize with chlorine. I'm like, okay, fine, you can sanitize everything with chlorine once. People were getting headaches, they felt nauseous, and that was just like one day of a few hours of using chlorine in the facility, and people felt sick. And it's just like,
so I've just had a message in here that says, I think chlorine dioxide is good. Okay, get your seatbelt on tight.
so the chlorine dioxide is chlorine. It's like household chlorine, right? Is that
chlorine dioxide? Yep, household chlorine.
so? Like, yeah. So that example I had, people were getting headaches, they were feeling sick. Yeah, it's not good.
So so in the chat she says, I'm ready to listen. Okay, potential health effects is chlorine. Chlorine isn't the same as chlorine. Okay, so chlorine dioxide.
I think chlorine dioxide is definitely different, but you wouldn't want to breathe concentrated chlorine dioxide. I think it breaks down to just oxygen, which is different than chlorine.
So let me finish this. Let me finish this one.
I know I'm interrupting you. I know. Well, it's fun.
Chlorine dioxide is the health effects: bronchitis, pulmonary edema, which is water retention in your heart system, I'm guessing, reproductive disorders, respiratory and development toxicity, and destroys vitamin E. That's chlorine dioxide. So you can see what I've done over the years, can't you? I've just sat down with this little book and gone. So chlorine on its own, right? Chlorine, produced by electrolysis, flour treatment agent. It's used in whitening of flour, processing fish, vegetables and fruit, flame retardant compounds, batteries, water purification. So it doesn't matter what chlorine you're talking to me about, it is the health effects, productive problems, brain damage.
I think what she's referencing, people use she's referencing those drops that people use, MMS.
Oh, that's different.
That's chlorine dioxide, though, I think.
Well,
that's what you're saying, right?
Charlie, do you know what though, Phil? I've never liked that either.
No, I don't resonate with it. I'm just like, it seems a little off. And I think people have got great results, but I think we can do a lot better. We did do a spraying of chlorine dioxide in the facility, and we shut the facility down. But then I discovered that I can get the same or a better effect by installing ionizers in the air handling ducts, and don't you need to use any chemicals. It's just using negative ions. So I was like, forget that. I think there's better solutions. MMS is still more, it's a little bit more like a drug kind of effect. But yeah, it doesn't resonate with me personally. But I think
the thing with MMS is it takes everything out.
Yeah.
I think it's a little bit like other therapies where it's like dropping an atom bomb. You don't want to drop an atom bomb in your body because it kills everything, and it needs to be very targeted. So anyway, chlorine again. Reproductive problems, brain damage, destroys vitamin E, toxic to the skin and lungs, and cancer.
Mm-hmm.
So
there was actually a study that linked overuse of cleaning chemicals like chlorine with COPD. I think I posted that study a long time ago.
Explain COPD. Just what's COPD again, Phil? Remind us all.
Pulmonary obstruction in the lungs, like lung issues.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, where people can't breathe and stuff like that. So exo happens to people who are using a lot of chlorine and breathing that in, and it's actually OSHA, like be really careful with this stuff kind of thing. So
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, it's interesting. So yeah, so over the years, I've just gone down a rabbit hole with that little book, with things that are supposedly safe.
yeah.
And it's Phil's favorite word tonight is shitstorm, and we're in an environmental shitstorm. We've got to be really careful.
It's reducing that load. Like we started at the beginning, is like, why are people susceptible to viruses and bacteria? Because we have this load of stuff. We need to reduce this load. And why do viruses and bacteria attack an organism? Well, because to break it down. Like when they're in harmony, they keep it alive. But when that organism, that plant is out of harmony, they're going to compost it. As Gable Cousins said in his book, Rainbow Green, the composting button gets hit. The body's like, oh, this person's ready to go. We hit the composting button. Let's break it down. So people are walking compost heaps. I think Gabriel liked to say that was a really.
Yeah, and what's the other thing? The other thing that's interesting in that, Phil, is in order for organs to shut down for death, they have to have enough energy. If there isn't enough energy for each organ to shut down properly, then suffering occurs. It's interesting, isn't it? So you have to have enough stored energy to die peacefully.
Sorry, we're reading comments here.
Yeah, I think
using the war to clear out trenches. Interesting.
Yeah, he's a mindful of information, actually. Bless him.
Why do we use it so much and everything? Wonder why? Because, and this overuse of like chlorine and hand sanitizers, and I mean, it's actually coming out now how dangerous some of these things are, and like all these things got pushed into the market, and then they're going, oh, wow, we shouldn't have been using that chemical, and like, whoops. Sorry, we harmed your whole microbiome, and we damaged your skin, and that got absorbed straight through the skin into like people are overusing this stuff, and where does everything that goes on the skin go? It goes into the kidneys and into the liver, like it gets processed by the body. What are we going to see? We're going to start to see kidney and liver problems.
Well, we're seeing it actually all of the time, because if you look at kidneys are like our main metabolic excretion from metabolic waste. When the kidneys get backed up, the first thing that happens is lymph gets backed up. Then what happens? Oh, you get asthma, eczema, itchy skin, fungal issues. You get adrenal weakness. You get parathyroid weakness. You get thyroid weakness. And then you start to get all of these different diseases, which is the body going, and primarily the kidneys just like, I'm done, guys.
Shut down. Yeah.
I can't deal with this shitstorm that you're chucking at me.
Yeah.
So we have to just gently lift off and get rid of it. Just buy a book like this, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. Educate yourself about your butt. Something Phil and I haven't talked about actually is household chemicals. And the worst ones that I've found actually are your personal care products. I think we'll have to do a show on personal care products, Phil. Otherwise, this one's going to go on all night. Yeah, let's do a personal care product.
I just got funny. Like this comes up every so often. I had a girlfriend, and she had a hairspray, and it said flammable on it. I'm like, why are you spraying this in your hair? She was so upset because it was like her favorite hairspray. I'm like, why are you you're spraying a flammable chemical? And never mind what else is in it. You're spraying this flammable chemical in your hair. What the heck are we doing? Stop. Anyway. Got some homeopathic there?
Yeah, I know. I forgot to take it. I was supposed to take it when we came on, and so
You took
hopefully
it. You took it right now. It's perfect.
I've got to do it before 9 o'clock. Otherwise, homeopathy doesn't work after 9 o'clock
Okay.
because you're entering into different cycles. So it's really interesting. A lot of people are going to disagree with that, but this is a homeopathic and homeopathic. She's from the homeopaths from Switzerland, and they actually do homeopathy. I think they do homeopathy much deeper than anything I've ever had before.
Mm-hmm.
They seem to get it at a whole different level, and their homeopathic is different to ours.
Yeah. I think as we evolve, we're going to do more and more subtle things for healing. Like the stuff I did with Susan, the microcurrent, you can't feel it. You don't feel that. It's not like really you're not feeling this current coming into your body. It's like you don't feel it. It's microcurrents that's going into the body. It's really, really subtle. And I think we're going to do more of these subtle energy medicines to heal people where you don't feel it, like homeopathy. You don't necessarily feel anything, but it's working.
Yeah, absolutely it is.
Yeah. All right.
Well, Phil, that's 9 o'clock our new time.
Yep. Good show.
Good show.
We had absolutely no idea what we were going to talk about, and that was really great.
all me and you have to do is start chatting.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
And then all this stuff just flows out, man.
Yeah. Yep. Good. Well, nice. All right. Let's see. Thank you, Tim, for all your interactions. Sometimes it's hard for me to see on YouTube. I'm trying to follow all your little chats while I've got the window open, so I don't catch them all. So a quick recipe. Well, Phil doesn't eat quinoa, but I eat quinoa, and I just eat it like pretty much plain with I mix it in with my salad. So not really anything fancy. I do it in an Instapot, so it's nice and soft, and then I just mix it in with a salad. So
is that someone asking you about eating it, making it?
He's asking about eating it, and I don't really have a recipe. I love it with tomatoes and stuff like that. But go ahead, Phil.
I reckon the best way to cook it simply is bring it up to just about the boil and let it simmer for about 1 minute. Put the lid on, turn it off, and leave it for. It will take 45 minutes to an hour, and you need 1 cup of quinoa, 2 cups of water, and that will give you the perfect quinoa.
So it's nice and soft. But yeah, I like it with like
fluffy. When it goes fluffy,
it's fluffy. Yeah.
If you cook it, it goes soft. If you do this way, it becomes like it just really fluffs up, and it's incredible.
Yeah. I like it with tomatoes and sauerkraut, some
avocado.
Yeah. Avocado. Yeah, it's really good.
Of course you do.
Yeah. So simple. It's just simple. Just a few things together. So sometimes a sprinkle of spirulina, but I put that on anything. So
absolutely, yeah. Garden peas again. Garden peas. They don't.
Oh yeah.
Garden peas. If you get frozen garden peas, they don't need cooking.
No, you just
all you've got to do is just warm them up to body temperature, and they're perfect. Chuck them in there as well.
Right.
Perfect.
Exactly. So
perfect.
Good. Well, I'm Phil.
And I'm Phil.
And this has been another fabulous episode of the Phil and Phil Show. And you can check us out, philandphil.com. I'm actually working on a little resources page right now because people, like I was having conversations with people just like overwhelmed by what's been put out, related to some of the, the topics that we didn't talk about, but did talk about tonight. So I'm putting together a little links page of all the kind of the people I really trust, like the websites that basically have been suppressed on search engines. So I'm actually going to make a little card that I can hand out to people. So I'm putting that little page, and then I can just give them a single link. It's like /health or something like that. And it's just some good resources that kind of a little bit more mainstream, but like Macola.com and stuff like that, but have really good, well-researched information that, it's not too conspiracy, but it's enough where people go, oh, there's another viewpoint here that I can maybe look at, and it's solid, even though, there have been, kind of attacked in the mainstream, but still they're really useful resources for people. So I'm putting together that little link, and that way you can just share one link with people and it'll have like 10 different websites to maybe go to and do a little research for yourself. And I think because that's important, because we can't push that. People have to read for themselves.
That's a great idea, Phil. That's a really, really good idea. You know, and we could probably have some good recipe sites.
Yeah. And I could do a couple of different link pages or something like that. Hey, go over here if you want like some great recipe sites or great chefs or something like that. So
yeah.
It could be endless. But I think I've always been really into empowering people with lots of resources. Like, hey, go over here, try this. Lots and lots of approaches, lots of different things. And I love doing that. I love empowering people with lots of information so they can figure it out for themselves. And that's why we do this show. So so if you love our shows and you get inspired and you get, you like the links and the things that we share, go to philandphil.com. Please make a donation so I can, pay to host the website and, put a little money aside so we can do this more full time. Because when I get down to it, I can spend a lot more time on researching. I love writing articles, but right now, I'm working my regular job and I don't do that. But I actually really like writing health articles and educating people. So I want to do more of that to inspire people. Make health memes. I like making health inspiring memes too. So.
Yeah, and I like making videos. I love making the videos. So so between us, we've got there's some really good stuff to come when we get a bit of time. Go onto our YouTube channel if you're not, and please subscribe, like us. We've also but if you go to the philandphil.com, you can see our channels on the homepage. Please go and
we have a Telegram channel which I post something on almost every day. We don't have many followers right now, but join us on Telegram. Telegram is freaking awesome. There's like so many great channels. All these people have been banned from the regular platforms have a channel, and they share just great researched information. And I share some of those other channels on our Telegram channel and stuff that I wouldn't share anywhere else. So
brand new tube. Check out brand new tube, because that's if you want to know the truth, that's where everyone is, because they can't be anywhere else.
Yep. So
so thanks for watching, guys. Really appreciate you all.
Thanks everyone.
And we'll see you next week.
Stop the recording. Stop the stream.